Thank you for your recent funding inquiry. I'm Amy from Energize, and over the next few minutes, I'll be talking you through some advice and guidance on applying for funding, some top tips, and some ideas of funds you might want to consider applying to. Firstly, if you want to head on over to the Energize website, I'll talk you through some resources and guidance we have online. So on our landing page, if you head to supporting communities, dropping down to funding available and over to funding opportunities, you should land on this page here. Now, we'll go through some examples of funds shortly, but firstly, if you head on over to top tips to boost your funding application, I just wanted to flag this document here because it's so important at this stage whilst you're just starting out that you consider these top tips. There's nothing worse than wasting your time and applying for funds that are not up your street, that you're ineligible for, or if you don't know what you need and then you put together an application that really doesn't meet the needs of the funder. So biggest bits of advice are make sure you know what you need, what type of costs these are, whether they're project costs, capital costs, core costs, exactly how much funding you need, and a breakdown of that funding, as well as read the guidance, make sure you're eligible, and start to compile documentation and some standard answers to questions which are commonly asked by funders. For instance, documents such as your constitution document or some kind of proof of organisation or structure, bank statements within the last few months, as well as policies and procedures, including things like safeguarding policies and insurance documentation. Common question-wise, funders love to hear about your organisation, your project, any kind of evidence of demand and need is really crucial to make sure that you can really fly the flag for why this investment is needed, as well as some standard kind of outcomes, outputs, what you expect to achieve from the investment. So once you've considered these top tips, have a look and start to consider some funders out there. Now, some good places to start looking for funds are funding newsletters. We have a list of them just here on our website, but also consider looking at previous funders that you might have worked with before, as well as other online databases, including a good old Google search. And you might even want to chat to some other organisations, either locally or nationally, about where they go for funding, what positive experiences or negative experiences they've had with funders. So really make sure you do your research. Okay, so now on to some specific funds. As you can see here, we've got a list of a whole host of different funding opportunities. If you click through any of these hyperlinks here, it will take you to that specific area on the website, on the webpage, which includes some information on that fund and that funder, as well as a hyperlink to further information or directly to their application process. Now, a few funders that you might want to look into. If you're looking at big funders, so national funders, would definitely recommend having a look at Sport England. They have a really helpful funding search tool as well on their webpage, which will help direct you to the best Sport England grant for your needs. Secondly, it might be worth having a look at the National Lottery. So National Lottery have a number of different funds which you can look through just here. And then moving on, you might want to have a little look at some smaller funds, for instance, local Rotary, Lions groups, WI groups. For instance, here you can see we've got the Rotary Club of Ironbridge with some examples of good causes and local organisations they've supported over the years. It might, if you're looking local, also be worth popping into your local Asda supermarket or Tesco run a similar scheme. because they have a community champion within their supermarkets, whereby they provide support to voluntary community organisations, an investment to support them continuing some great work going on. And finally, it might also be worth considering your local authorities, so either Telford and Wrekin Council or Shropshire Council, as to what opportunities they may have available, as seen here through the Telford and Wrekin Twinkle Community Lottery. Okay, so hopefully that bite-sized piece of information was useful. You got a few kind of top tips, some advice and guidance from those, and some ideas through our website of different funds available, with some examples of some national and local funders as well. All that's left for me to say is, yeah, I hope that was useful, and happy funding hunting.